All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is 3:27 p.m. and I am here with my son, Evan Solora. Evan, say hi.
Hi.
And we've got an update here for you on Bitcoin. Usually like to get to this earlier in the day, but it's been a pretty busy day here. So daily hasn't changed. 4 hour. Still don't have a red brick here, as you can see, but we've definitely got some significant bearish momentum coming in case anybody was wondering why I'm bullish one day and bearish the next, this is why. So market conditions change pretty much every day. And one day there are some decent bullish opportunities, another day there are some decent bearish opportunities. So until we really pick a direction, I'm still leaning towards the bearish side long term again because we are on that upper band um, of the logarithmic regression charts. And if you've been following, you've seen that plenty of times. It's basically an overlay on BLX. But anyway, so here we are on the 1 hour Renkos. As you can see, man, these bears really putting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red bricks just overnight. Yeah, just overnight. Actually, no, starting on the 29th. So not just overnight, but yeah, some bearish momentum coming in. The bulls are not quite done yet. Let's see what happens with the bricks and this average here. And again, this is the area that these bulls will want to push to. Okay, so I wouldn't quite write them off too soon, but you can see that that higher time frame bearish momentum and the fact that really we're still pretty overbought. You can see that kind of playing into days like this where pretty much the entire market is red, as you can see on my watch list there to the right. So anyway, moving over to the candles. Here is our market. It still hasn't changed. Here's our market right here. We've got sellers. Got sellers in here. Okay, these sellers kind of stepped in. The market just poked above that zone, but now we've had two pretty decent red days. And what's kind of interesting, kind of scary if you're a bull, is that we push through these lows here with today's candle. So that that kind of says something. Now I'm still not writing the bulls off though. Until we see what they've got down here. I have a little counter trend opportunity that I'm looking at taking long on Bitcoin. This would only be to maybe catch like a 2-to-1, possibly a 3-to-1 bounce. It's on a 15-minute chart, and I'll show you that here in just a sec. So that's your view of the daily. Going down to the 4, this is what we can see on the 4. Um, this was looking positive. Okay, there was no bearish divergence on the chart here. So as we were making this little run up, you guys can see the most recent peak. The indicator was also giving us that same indication. Okay, so there's no divergence. Divergence would be if we had a lower high here. Okay, this would be divergence if we had a lower high, but we didn't get any bearish divergence on that, so that was looking good. But again, you can see this market's just being held down. Now on the 4, you can see we've got a bearish crossover here. Flicking back to the daily for a second. Here's your crossover on the daily. I forgot to mention this while we're on the daily time frame, but here is your crossover on the daily, and you can see that this really isn't that this one really isn't as significant as, say, this one, because this crossover followed through with two really nice green days. This crossover, as you can see, we didn't really have, I mean, if anything, we're following through with two red days. So I am not, I mean, I can't say for sure, but I would not be surprised now if this Hull average crossed down again below the McGinley, and we started to kind of channel down like so. Okay, I would not be surprised if that kind of a move was in play here, but we'll have to see. Anyway, back to the 4. As you can see on the 4, here is our bearish crossover, and this is pretty significant. We've had several candles now printing below after this crossover. So I'm going to watch for price on this McGinley. Obviously, if the bears are in control, we don't want to see closing prices above that McGinley average. The 15-minute, the little 15-minute maybe kind of bounce that I'm looking for is going to be right down in this region here. We'll get back in the time machine and I'll show you what I'm looking at. And I'm really looking at just taking this little tiny area right in here upon the retest. And it's going to be, let me get this rectangle out of here. Again, this is all going to depend on the price action as we enter the zone, but it's going to be this little tiny area around 31,600. I might put a stop somewhere like right down there somewhere. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Bringing back some of the candles now just to show you where we're at. This is, these dotted lines are our little 15-minute area. So what we're going to want to see, again, remember the solid green lines are our daily area where I do expect some bulls to kind of jump in. And you can see right now this little area is right within there. So it's really going to depend on the price action as we enter the level. If price is kind of moving sideways before we get down to 31.6, I'm probably going to take it off. I will not take it. If I'm going to take this trade, we're going to need to see some price action like this into the level, and then I just want to catch just a little bounce out. Not expecting much out of this one, but we'll just have to see. So that's that. I do want to take just a quick second here and look at the Ethereum opportunity from last night. This is really an answer to Michael's question. Really good question. He said, hey, can you give some post-mortem analysis on the failed long position on Ethereum? And absolutely. So last night we were looking at, let's see, what were we looking at last night? I think we even had this candle. We were probably in the next candle was probably in the making. This is my Femex. Anyway, well, this is the Femex exchange quote, but that's fine. It's a Femex chart, but it's fine. The numbers are pretty similar anyway. So we were looking at this. We were looking at this right here, and I had this area highlighted. Sorry for all the lines here. This is these are my charts that I'm trading on. Usually not making videos on these. I like to keep the video charts pretty clean. Let me just hide these for a second so we're not confused. Okay. I'm getting there. So this was the area that we're looking at last night. And I think what I did was I found it on a 10-minute chart. And I found this little area. And we found this little area in here. Right in there. Get a dotted line out here too. So that was our little area. I think I had a stop loss down here. Yeah, it was something like this. That's what we were looking at, and as you can see, this is what happened. So the market came in, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so right there, let's see, what time was this? At 2:50 Central Standard Time, we entered, and we just cut right through this one. So there were not any buyers down here, okay? Not any buyers. Now fast forwarding, this is what we're looking at. So as you can see, clearly trade's been stopped out. Now, because let me get back to the 4-hour chart here. Now, because this area did not work out on Ethereum, and these markets are so highly correlated. I'm really not too keen on taking the other similar areas on, what do we have? We had comp. Okay, so I'm not too keen on taking this one on comp because I don't know. I mean, anything can happen, but I'm not too keen on it now because it was broken through on Ethereum. And let's see, MKR. Again, this is the kind of similar area. Not too keen on taking it now because on a major alt, we've already kind of had that area broken. Again, anything can happen, and these markets can sometimes move independent of each other. But because they're so highly correlated, because it didn't work on one, I'm stepping away and I'm reassessing on some of the others. And you know what? In hindsight's always 2020. In hindsight, what I should have seen was some pretty significant divergence here in the price and the average. So you've got price making a higher high here, but look at this. Oh my goodness, I can't even believe I didn't see this. But there you've got the indicator making a lower high, much lower high, so indicating that a correction was indeed in play. And I think you guys, Ethereum and some of these crypto markets, we might be in for a larger corrective move here. We'll just have to see. I mean, if the bulls don't step in and move the market up from where it currently is, I think we're going to have a pretty tough time getting higher. Anything can happen. Of course, we can kind of go sideways, kind of build a little base that we can break out from and move higher. But right now, I'm just a little bit skeptical. Any long positions that I'm going to take, especially after just missing out on this one here in an area where I did expect a bounce, I'm just taking a step back, reassessing, and maybe even looking possibly at the short side on a couple pairs. So that's what I got. But yeah, so I mean, our market is pretty tight. We're looking pretty tight. We've got our sellers that came in up here. We've got some buyers. We got to really see. We got to really see if these bulls can step in here and hold this market up. So that's going to be really important going into tomorrow and into the weekend. If we continue to break lower, you guys, then we're officially channeling down. Okay, if Bitcoin and the market really, if the markets break these little areas that they all kind of have, then you can see we'll kind of be in this channel down, and then we'll really be looking at the some of those higher time frame demand areas down here around 25 and even 20,000. So that's what I got for you guys. Trade safe out there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.